Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, or whatever. My name is Gabe Ignetti, the real vampire from Brooklyn. And I'd like to welcome you to the special End is Near edition of the Eco-Modernist Soapbox. There's a monster stalking the earth, and its name is fear. To be precise, fear of the unknown. So lay back and let your paranoia run wild. In our ancient past, fears of the unknown were necessary for our survival from those stealthy predators. Now many of us, being the clever creatures that we are, developed a curiosity about the unknown instead of a fear of it. We might call them the first scientists, and before you know it, they harnessed the most dangerous and destructive force on Earth: fire.
Today we're going to show you an idea and ask for your opinion. This is called fire. Now, according to its developers, fire can be used for cooking, as a heat source, and to scare away those unwanted wild animals. Your thoughts?
My first impression is it looks dangerous.
Fear of science has always been with us. In the late 1800s, the big fear was what effects traveling on trains more than 20 miles an hour had on the human body. Fast forward to the last century, when the big fear with trains at that time was subways. To back up just a little bit, the next great invention that revolutionized human progress was electricity. And there was much opposition that was well stoked by the mass media that rightfully recognized that electricity was something to be afraid of, and that also understood that fear sells. The great muckrakers of their day were championing the public good, protecting the citizenry against the deadly electric wires, boldly declaring that the system of stringing them overhead must be abolished. There were public demonstrations on the dangers of AC current, which were, let's face it, quite shocking. Fast forward to our modern era, when the fear of revolutionary scientific breakthroughs such as nuclear power, GMOs, and vaccines became widely viewed as existential threats to the planet. Scientific consensus is that they have proved to be safer than subways. They actually save lives. Lots of them. But who are we to let a few facts get in the way of a good conspiracy theory or two? Nuclear power has actually been rated as the safest form of energy and has saved almost 2 million lives, while vaccines have saved over 2 million lives annually. GMO crops have saved lives as well, and there is no evidence of them harming anything or anybody. And it is proven to be the best defense against the most deadly creature on Earth, the lowly mosquito, which kills over 700,000 people worldwide annually. Several strains of mosquitoes are disease carriers with the potential of decimating human life on the planet. These deadly strains have been targeted by an elegant solution, but it has the dreaded 3 letters in front of it that is feared even more than the devil: GMO.
Brazil, late 2014. Doctors noticed a disturbing trend. An increasing number of babies were born with abnormally small heads, a condition known as microcephaly. The spike in microcephaly was linked to a virus called Zika, that is spread by mosquitoes. Throughout the Americas, mosquito bites are tied to many viral outbreaks. In the months before Zika spread in Brazil, chikungunya, a tropical virus that causes terrible joint pain, invaded the Western Hemisphere, infecting almost 1 million people. And West Nile virus sickened more than 2,000 victims in the US, with symptoms ranging from fever to paralysis. To stop these outbreaks, scientists have turned their attention to fighting the mosquitoes that carry these diseases. And one of the weapons they are using is genetic engineering. In South America, the Zika virus is spread by a mosquito called Aedes aegypti. Other diseases, including dengue, chikungunya, and yellow fever, are also spread by this persistent insect.
Aedes aegypti is the cockroach of mosquitoes. It lives indoors and outdoors. It bites daytime and nighttime. It develops resistance to insecticides easily. The eggs can overwinter for a year. To control it, we have to kill the adult mosquitoes, the larval mosquitoes, both inside and outside.
But since 2002, scientists at a biotech company called Oxitec have been investigating a more direct approach. A line of genetically modified Aedes aegypti mosquitoes. Although there are concerns about this technology, authorities have allowed limited releases to study its efficacy and safety.
A British company hopes to prove its genetically modified insects can kill off most of the mosquito population on the island of Keyhaven, but there's resistance. More than 145,000 people have signed a petition to stop the test. Joining us from Los Angeles is Dr. Christy Wilcox, a molecular biologist for Discover Magazine. Dr. Wilcox, good morning.
Good morning. How you doing?
What is the alternative? If they don't go along this route of creating this genetically modified mosquito, what can they do?
Well, they can do what they're doing now, which is they're using pesticides and source control to try to lower populations of mosquitoes. But that's only working. It's about 50% of the population is suppressed. So you still have a lot of mosquitoes out there that we don't want.
Over 138,000 people have already signed a change.org petition calling on the FDA to stop this Florida experiment from going through. A lot of people are associating this latest initiative with genetically modified crops, which have gained a lot of criticism in recent years. The petition points to the prominence of genetically modified crops and how their cultivation eventually resulted in unintended consequences, particularly for humans. They worry about what might happen if one of these DNA-altered mosquitoes bites them.
Be afraid, be very afraid. Look what happened to me. Don't let the GMO mosquitoes loose, or this can happen.